self-care is getting. Now, we've all heard this, self-care isn't selfish. Who's heard that phrase? Because it's been everywhere. Self-care isn't selfish, self-care isn't. And here's what I think about that. When we think about that, most of us probably roll our eyes, to be honest. Because we know logically that it isn't selfish, but it sure does feel like it. It feels like it because you're having to say no to sometimes people you love. Your kids, your husband, your work, like it feels kind of selfish, right? And so it got me thinking of like, what was the reason why I was able to really stick with my self-care? And it's because right in the beginning, I subconsciously, of course, had a shift of thought where self-care is giving, okay? This is Elena, my daughter, okay? Don't let that sweet face fool you. She is a firecracker there. But this is Elena, and that night, after that experience in the training room, I came home, and let me just take you back to that day, after that huge realization that I pretty much could have been the picture on that slide, okay? I had like all these aha moments throughout the day, right? Like it just kind of kept trickling down. And so when I got to home that night and I was putting this little sweet little curly hair little 2-year-old to bed, I thought to myself, how did this happen? How did I get so lost? Because when I thought back, I was not this way before I had kids, okay? I was strong, determined, I was all this stuff, and then suddenly, I was just kind of like a shell. And I thought to myself, wow, I've really turned in the I Matter card, right? Who here has turned in their I Matter card? Right. We turn in our I Matter card when we have kids, when we have a job, when we get married, right? And we turn it in. We turn in that card and we go on, right? And I realized in that moment that I didn't want my daughter to ever turn in her I Matter card. You see, I come from a long line of women who have sacrificed themselves. I learned that. They give me such a gift because I learned to sacrifice. Oh, I can suffer, ladies. And going back to our welcome night, I bet all of you can suffer. And we suffer hard, and we take that sacrifice with honor, right? I came from a long line of them. And as I was putting Elena down, I thought, this legacy stops with me. Like, I will not have my daughter turn in her I Matter card for a husband, for a job, for her kids. I want her to go into life knowing 100% that she can always matter. No matter what, that she matters. And I thought to myself, if anything, I'm gonna give her that gift. I'm gonna give it to her, and it's gonna start with me. So when I made that decision, that is why I didn't get lost in that road for too long. Because I would come home and I would see my daughter and I would think, it's not gonna happen to you, baby. You're gonna go into this world and you're gonna love yourself and you're gonna want the best for you. So when my daughter comes to me, COVID, April, feeling really sad. She hasn't seen her friends. She hasn't been at school. And she says, Mom, I'm so sad today. Do you think a bike ride would help me? That right there, ladies, that right there is why I show up every day, for me. Because she knows how to take care of herself at 12 years old. She recognized, I'm hurting. What can I do to help myself? She didn't tell me, fix it. She didn't come to me and cry or complain or whine. Instead, she asked me, do you think going for a bike ride will help me? Yes. When my son, a week ago, he's an athlete, he's a quarterback, comes to me and tells me, Mom, I think I need to start meditating. 16-year-old boy. He thinks he needs to start meditating. That right there, ladies, is self-care is giving. Mm-hmm. You show the people in your life how to take care of themselves. When you take care of yourself, mm-hmm. It is a gift that we have to give. So when you hold on to that, I don't feel shame. I don't feel guilt, because I know that this is why all those years that I walked out the door with guilt, there was a bigger purpose. There was a bigger purpose for me doing that. Do you think my kids didn't cry when I went out? Yeah, they did. My daughter was 2. They complained. People complained. Not all people are going to be your cheerleaders. Not all people are going to be hyped like, oh, you're saying no to me? Great. Good job setting boundaries. People aren't going to say that to you, right? But you have to look at it of, not only is self-care isn't selfish, it's giving, ladies. When we show up for ourselves, we give to those around us. We're better at work, we're better at home, we're better anywhere. You ladies are queens, and you're acting like peasants. You guys just don't think you matter. So when we make this mental shift, we create a space to actually move into action. Ooh. Ladies.
That's good. That's good.
How full is your cup? Because when we take care of ourselves, our cup is full and it overflows. When we're not taking care of ourselves, it's empty. And you know what happens? We're bitter, we're angry, we're tired, we're achy, like all these negative things happen. So I want you to ask yourself, how full is your cup today? Or maybe just in your life.